What is up, guys? Flossy Missiles here. In today's video, I'm back working on the Vanagon. It looks all stripped down in the front, looks all ugly. Took the upper and lower grills off, the front bumper off, and I'll show you what I'm gonna be working on. So right here was a few bubbles, like 3 or 4 little bubbles, and I knew there was gonna be rust underneath of it, but I didn't know it was gonna be all the way through. Went ahead and pressure washed the crap out of it, and look at that. So that whole section right here needs to be replaced, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out in this video. We got a spot right here. See a little rust hole happened, and right underneath, this poor Vanagon's just been neglected. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out, and hopefully in this video get to this windshield section right here. Look at that, look how bad that got. This is California bus too. I also need to replace this whole lower section right here in the front. I could honestly get away with body working all this, but this would take forever. This is like super wavy right here. This is all dented in. This is dented in along here and over here. Oh, also I'm gonna repair this piece right here. But this one I'm probably gonna do for the next video, and these are all spot welds. Literally, you can see the little spot welds going all the way along, top and bottom. So I'll just cut that piece out, go to the junkyard and get another one, cut that out, and weld it into place. But yeah, let's get started by cutting out all the old rusty metal. Pretty simple to remove one of the doors on these Vanagons. All you have is a little pin that goes in right, it's not dark enough, right there, and then there's 4 13s, and obviously you gotta take off some of the door panel stuff, but that's no big deal. The door just pops right off. I use a jack to kind of hold it in place since I'm doing it by myself. Make sure the window's down so you have some good grip and you can pull it up. And now we can get access to the back side of this, and this actually looks really good. I almost wonder if this has been repaired, you know, in the past, like a long time ago, because if you notice there's a paint drip right there, unless that's a factory drip. And also there's a little nib right there in the paint. See it? Some dirt in the paint right there. So I'm like, I wonder if this was repaired at one time. I don't know if it was or not, because it's kind of failing like the rest of the car. Like, see how the clear coat failing? That's kind of what's happening throughout the whole entire thing. I mean, clear coat's falling off of it. But yeah, now we got access to the back side of this panel, and we can go ahead and get working on it. Here's where we're at right now. I went ahead and cut it out. I was actually using the Dremel. I switched over to the bigger guy because I was doing straighter lines with the bigger guy. So yeah, I got it all pretty much cut out. It's really crunchy under there, which is really, it pops off right there. It's really kind of disappointing, but this is no big deal. I guess what I'm wondering now, is it rusty all the way, you know, underneath this thing the whole way through? It's kind of scary. Here it is after about 5 minutes of working on it. I got pretty much all the rust off of it. There's a few little pits in there if you can see them, but nothing bad. That metal's almost perfect. I have some Pour 15 and some rust conversion, other stuff, paint that I'm gonna put on this piece. So hopefully it just stops right there, because there's like a few like little pits. I don't know if you guys can see them on camera, those little black things. Anyways, it's pretty much almost perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this area where it's going to be welded to, and I got this guy right here, this little disc. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a quick strip disc. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's just called like a quick strip disc, and that doesn't mess up the metal, doesn't get it too hot, and usually is, you know, ready to weld. And as you can see, that area is stripped, so when I go ahead and weld to it, it'll be nice and down to bare metal. And then also when I Bondo it, I got a layer of just bare metal over here. So now I got to cut out a piece of metal, and I need it to be that shape. So I'll usually use a piece of cardboard or some cardstock, whatever you want to call it, and then shape it up, kind of line it up, and use a pencil and kind of etch it out a little bit. Here's another trick I'd like to do. So here's the piece I just cut out. It was shaped like a U, of course, because it wraps around the back. I went ahead and I flattened it out with a hammer. And then you can see right there, and then this is the part that wraps around the back. So you can see you can kind of get the shape by doing that, and just kind of a rough guide. So I'll I'll trace this onto a piece of cardboard, cut that out, and then I'll line it up and do final trimmings. Here's some of the cardstock I use. You can get 2 sheets of it for $1 at like Dollar Tree or wherever, Walmart. And there's the template I made. You can see it lines up pretty good. Wraps around the back. And yeah, it's pretty much ready to cut out of metal now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out of metal and then start lining some stuff up and throwing some welds down. This right here is just a random piece of Vanagon sheet metal that I had laying around from when I repaired something else on another van. So same gauge metal. There's my stencil right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. Here's the piece all cut out and sitting in there. I went ahead and I put a little bend on it, as you see on the back side, so it mimics this. I just did that in the vise. I just put it in there and hammered one side down. You can see it slides right in there, and I gotta hold it into place for it to fit exactly right. But all right, so there's the back side. I have it kind of taped off, and here's the one I'm gonna weld on. But I'm gonna go ahead and spray some rust reformer spray paint on there, get a nice coat, since that's gonna be covered up in this raw metal, and also on the back side of the piece that I'm welding on. I'm gonna put a coat on there as well. Might do some weld through primer on top of that even. I'm not sure, I gotta get some opinions. I'll read online real quick to see what's best, but probably just this. Okay, so as you can see, this piece right here is properly dried. I'll just set that right in place. This is a Lincoln 140 MIG welder. That's what I'm gonna be welding with. I have 023 wire in there right now. And we're gonna butt weld this whole thing on, so let's get started. Welds are done. It should end up looking something like this. Obviously you got to grind all this down, so I got my flap disc right there, and I'm gonna go ahead and grind all of that down and see what we've got to work with. And here's what it should look like, all ground down. You might have to go back and fill in some little holes that you missed. That's what I had to do a few times. This is the first body work I've done in probably, I don't know, probably almost a year. It didn't come out that good, honestly. But a little glaze and it'll be perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and move on now to this front piece, or should I do this one? I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna move on to one of these. Okay, windshield is out, and best scenario, this right here, this rust damage, it only went through the first layer, so there's 2 pieces that are butted up. It'll focus, there you go. And it just went through the first layer, so the back is fine, which means I don't have to remove the dash. To remove the windshield, I just get a razor blade like that, a long one, run it all the way around, and then on the inside, and then it just pops right out. Also, this is the replacement sheet metal I'm gonna use that I got from the scrapyard. There's this piece on the windshield. I went ahead and trimmed up that piece a little more off camera, and boom, there you go. You can see it fits nice in there. Hopefully I can match up this one right here on top, but I think I should be able to. This was not the easiest shape to try to match with this one, but worked out all right. It took me probably, I don't know, 20 minutes to get everything all sanded down and ready to be welded in. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some weld through primer on this back side right here on the top, and this side right here. Also, I should have a trash bag in there so this piece wouldn't fall down, because I've done that before. I've been working on something and having the piece just stink. So yeah, this is the weld through primer I'm gonna use. This is the stuff from my local body shop. It's the Smart brand, so it's like their in-house brand. Yeah, just regular weld through primer. I'm gonna spray that on there, and then I'm gonna use some vice grips, try to get this lined up just perfectly, and then we're gonna go ahead and start laying down some tack welds. Okay, the piece is vice gripped into place. I gotta move this, push it down, and when I weld it, I'll push out my finger. Here's what we're looking at. Not the prettiest of things, but it's all welded in. I'm gonna go ahead and grind this down with a flap disc. All my discs are like super aggressive. I have like 80 and 40 grits, which kind of suck because it takes off a lot of metal quick and you can't really make mistakes. But I'm gonna go ahead and get all these spot welds, tack welds, whatever, butt welds. I'm gonna get them all knocked down and we'll see what we're left with. And after grinding it, here's what we're left with. I still got to go back and fill in a few more little tiny spots that I've missed. But panel came out okay. This line on top came out super nice, and this bottom line came out super nice. But this was a little bit higher right here. I don't know how that happened, so I had to beat it down a little bit with some body hammers, which is fine because the glaze will fill that up. But yeah, this is basically all done now. From the outside, this one doesn't look too bad, but you start looking underneath of it. If you guys can see, if it's not too dark, it's all rusted up right there. Just giant holes. There's a lot of like body seam seal or whatever it's called. I went ahead and popped out the headlight that's right here so I have more access. I'm gonna get in here with the Dremel, cut this area out. This is a rusty old piece of metal I cut out. It's pretty bad, terrible shape. Here's a new piece of metal. I'm gonna try to shape kind of the same way. It's totally different as you can see. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I just spent about a half hour making this piece. Probably took way too long for what it is. It has a lot of crazy bends, but it fits almost perfectly in the spot where I'm trying to put it. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys. There's the spot. There's like 10 different bends going on right there, so it just pink right in there. Got the corner piece for right here, and it's got this piece down here that lines up right there. I don't know, you'll see what it looks like when I weld it in. And there's how that one turned out. A lot of black stuff coming around the back, some rust proofing I did, but it came out pretty dialed, matches the body lines pretty good. I went ahead and sanded down the whole entire panel because it had these giant rock chips all over the whole entire thing. I don't know if you guys saw them before, but every time I'd start sanding them away, behind it, like under the paint, was just rust. And so I got this whole entire panel sanded down, and there's two giant dents right here. You can see how deep that thing is, but they're really deep. I had to get in there with a wire wheel. So yeah, I got to Bondo up those, throw some glaze on that, and then we should be good to go. Applied a grip of Bondo, way too much, but these areas are covered. Let me sand them down. Here's where I'm at right now. There's those two dings filled in. You should really block that with like a soft, like I think they're called Duraflex blocks. Block that to make sure that whole panel is flat going across. I just hit it with the DA from Harbor Freight. See how that goes. See how it looks. Got this area. It's not completely dialed in, but it's good enough. Same with this area. It's I wouldn't say completely dialed, but it is good enough for what I'm doing. And this side actually came out really good. So this is all right now in 60 grit. So I'm gonna work my way up to my box of sandpapers. Let's see. I got 80s, you know, 100s, 120s. I got a bunch of sandpaper in here. So we'll work our way all the way up to 220. Once we get to 220, I'm gonna use self-fetching primer across the whole panel. Self-fetching primer. Make sure you shake this stuff really good if you ever get some, because it'll clog up super fast. So yeah, I'll get it to 220. I'll spray the whole thing, and then I'll probably sand it again, and then I'll shoot it with some, where is it? I got some paint. I don't know where it's at. I got some spray paint that sort of matches, not really at all. It's brown, and this bus is brown, so I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. Bus is all sanded down. I didn't film because I don't want any dusty in my camera, but it's in 220 right now. I took too much off this guy right here, this repair. Has a little bit of a dip in it now, like a tiny bit. So we're gonna see how it looks after I prime it, and if it levels out enough, I don't know. But yeah, I can feel it's not as smooth. Like this one's perfect. This one has like a little tiny, I don't know, dip in it. That one's all right. This one's all right. And this one's all right. So yeah, gonna go ahead and hit it with that self-etching primer. Okay, she's all primed up and she's been drying for a while. Look at those tiger stripes. Came out pretty decent. See this brown right here? I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyways, I picked up some brown paint. Here's what it looks like. It's called Hammered, so it's gonna have that weird texture. But it was the closest color I could find to my van, which is like a metallic-y brown. I don't know what you'd call this color. But it actually matches up pretty good. So yeah, here's my test little spray I did right here. And up there a little bit. You can see it's pretty dang close. I'm actually pretty good at matching rattle cans with actual paint jobs. Or actual paint. So I'm gonna go spray that on now. I was gonna sand this, but I'm like, ah, screw it. I'm just gonna shoot it on like this. Okay, things didn't go as planned. From afar, it looks pretty good. Color's pretty dang close. I got pretty good coverage. But when I get up close, see those splatters, those paint splatters? Kind of all along everywhere. There's a big one right there. So this stupid can, I kept shaking it while I was spraying it too. You know, make sure no chunks were coming out. But it's the way this tip is. This tip's kind of like junk. These, I always have problems with these kind of cans. I prefer just these ones. These ones, I don't know, I have better luck with this kind of tip. And these ones are always kind of funky though. They try to be too fancy. And it ends up, you know, spraying like crap. But yeah, it's painted. It's been a few days since the last clip I filmed with this thing. But as you can see, the paint is nice and hard now. Spray paint sometimes takes a while to get hard, actually stays soft for quite a while. But I'll show you how all the repairs came out. This one you can literally not tell at all that I repaired anything because it came out so good. These ones right here are literally perfect. The spray paint kind of sucks, but no dents at all. This came out absolutely perfect right here. As you can see, no issues there. So yeah, I'm stoked. Stoked on how everything came out. For some reason I hated working on this one. I don't know, I feel like I was having like issues the whole time when I was trying to do it. But if you liked today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more car content. Thank you so much for watching.